Well, the Supervoter election tipping competition has received thousands of entries from across the country as voters try to pick the winning candidates in all 151 House of Representatives seats. The latest figures show Supervoters are tipping a Labor majority government with 76 seats. Let's bring in now live Jo Hildebrand, host of The Blame Game. Jo, good to see you. Thank you for your time.
Good to see you, Ash. How are you?
I'm well, excited for the weekend. Just take us through how these voters get to a Labor majority. Which seats are they tipping or flip?
It's really interesting. So we've had thousands come on just in the last few days, and they all seem to be going Labor's way. They are tipping Labor victories in Reid, for example. There was early on, Andrew Constance was tipped to steal Gilmore, for example, from Labor. That has now reversed. Boothby is going to go Labor's way. They're also, interestingly, the private polling that I'm here about has 76 as the most pessimistic outlook for Labor. So it will be at least sort of 76 to 78 seats and then a bit on the top. I've also heard about 80. And it's interesting that that the Supervoter bets or tips, I should say, it's not really betting, it's just like a footy tipping scheme, but the tips are actually now starting to really mirror that. That 76-78 result doesn't even include Bass, for example, which is on a razor-thin majority of for the Libs, and Supervoter tipsters are picking that to topple as well. So it's a really interesting sort of last-minute sort of wave, I guess, towards the ALP.
Yeah, it sounds like the people involved are pretty tapped into what's going on. I think most of the people who are...
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, the interesting thing about it is that there are thousands of people, as you said, and heaps, and like a couple of thousand at least, I think, in the last few days have come on. But there are so many political insiders who are on it as well, and so it's really interesting because you can see what all the party strategists, all the advisors, you know that their fingerprints are all over it. So it's really interesting to watch.
I do see that most of the people involved, though, are men. Are you seeing big differences in the way men and women are tipping? And it seems like most people are coming from New South Wales and the ACT.
Yeah.
Is that swaying how things are looking, do you think?
This is Supervoter's great shame, Ash, and I thought I'd make a last-ditch appeal as well. If you're any women out there who are into politics, please get onto it, because this is embarrassing. 78% of Supervoter tippers are male and only 22% are female. So that is, quite frankly, a travesty. We've got to close the gender gap. The interesting thing is the most women tipping in Supervoter come from the NT, the home of crocodile wrestling. So the good old territory, the top end, has delivered the Sheilas to us, but we desperately want more women. It'd be really interesting to see how that plays out, because a Liberal strategist, for example, privately told me that there is a real women problem there's a perception, certainly in the community, that the PM is not for women. I don't necessarily think that's fair, but she said there's a massive chasm between men and women in terms of support for Scott Morrison and the coalition. So it'd be really interesting to see if more women get up, whether or not that will start to skew some of the predictions and maybe tip the needle a bit further Labor's way. There's also been oh my God, there's something even... It's actually true. It is a woman's prerogative to change her mind, because of the women who are voting or tipping on Supervoter actually change their votes 30% more than the men. It is true. I'm sorry, but yes, it's confirming the mother of all evils.
I think most women would be happy with that. I think it's a prerogative to change your mind. I don't think that's a criticism
exactly
at all.
I actually finished mine last night and then went back and changed my mind. So maybe I'm just a sensitive new age guy.
Well, there you go. Maybe women are just more tapped into what's actually going on and they're paying closer attention.
Exactly right.
Jo, I just wanted to finish with your personal view. I mean, you've been an observer for a long time in politics. You've covered more elections than you can probably count. What is your sense of how things will pan out? What are we all going to be talking about on Sunday?
I think we'll be talking about a Labor majority with an 8 in front of it. I know that is very bullish, but I'm hearing that it's 8. I don't understand. Again, there are pessimistic people within the Labor Party who are hearing numbers that are saying that seats like Bass won't fall on a razor-thin majority. Now, I just don't understand if a swing is on of the magnitude that we're seeing elsewhere, I don't understand how that won't go as well. I'm hearing it's about 80 seats as it stands, and then once you get a swing like that, there are always a few surprises that people aren't expecting. I think Christina Keneally will just hold on in Fowler, for example. I think there's a strong chance they could pick up Hasluck in WA. A lot of people are saying that they won't win Longman. I wouldn't be so sure. You never know. Again, it's only about 3 and a bit, I think, from memory. They'll pick up Reed. They'll hold on in Fowler, I think I said, despite a strong challenge from Dai Lee. They'll hold. I think Labor will hold all the seats it currently holds. There was talk that seats like Corangamite might be in trouble. I don't really see that happening. So again, they'll pick up Boothby in South Australia, possibly 3 in WA, possibly 3 or 4 in Queensland. That gets you to about 8 or 9 already, and we haven't even got to New South Wales and Victoria. New South Wales, they'll pick up Reed, they'll pick up Bennelong, which is an extraordinary tale. They might have a fighting chance in Lindsay. They might have a fighting chance in Robertson. In Victoria, they'll almost certainly pick up Chisholm, and a seat like Deakin is probably also in play. North Sydney, very interesting, amazing to watch. They could win that for the first time ever. I don't think they will, but they will. The Labor candidate there, I'm told, is already, pardon me, outpolling the Teals. So the Teals have spent $1.3 million to run third. Amazing failure, amazing waste of money. No wonder Simon Holmes Accord is getting in people's faces in Kooyong. I think the Libs will hold Kooyong, incidentally. I think Josh Frydenberg will be all right. Tim Wilson will be in trouble in Goldstein. And again, I think Tasmania, Bass and Braddon will probably fall, although pessimists are saying that because of Jackie Lambie's personal popularity and preferencing that Bass will stay with the Libs and Labor will pick up Braddon, even though it's technically on a higher margin. So that is what I am expecting. But we've all been wrong before, haven't we?
A few too many times, unfortunately, over the years, Joe. You and I both. So
yes,
let's look forward to this weekend. It's going to be a good one. There are going to be plenty of extraordinary tales, as you say, for us to dissect.
Really, it's going to be it's the most fascinating election I think I've probably ever seen already, and we haven't even seen the results yet.
Yep. All right, looking forward to it. Joe Hildebrand, appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today.
Thanks so much, Ash. Always
and
a pleasure.
See more of you over the weekend. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Take care.